What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be exploring what would happen if there wasn't always a bigger fish. Now, as we see in The Phantom Menace, when this big fish is going to eat their little Gungan cruiser ship, we realize that there's always a bigger fish. He comes in and eats the big fish, right, which saves their ship, as Qui-Gon says. But what if there wasn't that bigger fish? Then we would clearly see this big fish come and eat their little Gungan cruiser. Now, this would probably eat the whole thing, but maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi survives. This bite attack from the fish takes out Qui-Gon Jinn and Jar Jar Binks, but Obi-Wan Kenobi still survives because he's cool and has plot armor. Now, this leaves Obi-Wan Kenobi enraged, and he obviously wants to avenge his master, except he's not going to fight a big fish underwater because he'd just lose that battle. But he wants to make his master proud. Anyways, at some point, he'll still end up back on Tatooine, but since he's arrogant, he's not going to take freaking Anakin back to the Jedi Council. He's not going to take him back because he doesn't want to, right? It was Qui-Gon who wanted to take him back, and he wanted to fulfill Qui-Gon's request after he killed Darth Maul. But in this scenario, there is no Qui-Gon Jinn, so maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi still takes on Darth Maul. Maybe he still wins the battle. For my video's sake, let's say he wins the battle against Darth Maul. But he still doesn't take Anakin home. Because Qui-Gon wanted to take Anakin home, and Qui-Gon wasn't there to begin with because he died from the big fish. Okay? So, maybe Anakin still falls in love with Padme, who's like 10 years older than him, which is, I don't know what's going on there. But, either way, actually, I don't know if she's 10 years older than him. How much older is she than him? Okay. Either way, maybe Anakin still falls in love with Padme, but they don't take him back because Anakin's not convincing enough. He's not convincing. So he gets left on Tatooine. Doesn't matter if he wins the pod race or not. He gets left on Tatooine. Obi-Wan goes back to the Jedi Council, and he reports back. Anakin Skywalker is never introduced into the Jedi Council, which will therefore mean that his midichlorian count is considered useless. Useless. Maybe Padme comes back for him. Maybe she does. But we'll get there in a second. So Obi-Wan Kenobi goes back. They realize earlier, and they don't rely on Anakin to spy on him. They just go and attack Palpatine. They just go for it. And Palpatine gets taken down because you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, Yoda, all going after him at the same time, right? Same time. Jeez, I can't speak. Same time, right? And so they go and attack him. They win because it's 3 plot armor against 1, and there's no way Lord Sidious can take on Mace Windu, Yoda, and Obi-Wan Kagoat. The GOAT. Alright? So, after Palpatine has been destroyed, there's no more manipulation in the Force of Anakin. Anakin is pretty much a manipulation in the Force from Darth Plagueis to be another apprentice, be the strongest guy ever. But now, he's not going to become Lord Vader. So, what we see here is maybe Padme comes back. Maybe Padme comes back for him because she remembers Anakin. She wants to see how he's grown, right? She comes back, see how well he's grown, see how hard he's fought for his mom and Watto. Well, not fighting hard for Watto, but I mean, he's still got to work for Watto because he's still Watto's property. She comes back, frees him and his mother because she has the money. She has the money to free both of them. She brings them back to Naboo. Anakin still falls in love with Padme. And then they have their 2 children, Luke and Leia. But instead of them having no father figure, he's not Darth Vader anymore. So Luke and Leia are now going to be trained by the strongest midichlorian count ever existed in Star Wars history. Star Wars canon, movie timeline. I don't read Star Wars comics, guys, I'm sorry. But in this movie timeline, now they're going to be trained by their father. So, as we see, Anakin will go on to raise Luke to be the strongest Jedi of all time. But, as we also see in this, there's no Order 66 because they was executed beforehand. All the Jedi survived. There's still about 10,000 in the galaxy. The clone troopers are still at use. The Empire never builds, except for that cloning, apparently, that Palpatine did. That Palpatine somehow returned. Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I did actually see, though, in an old Lego book, Palpatine did clone himself 3 times, so maybe that's canon. Maybe that's where he cloned himself. I don't know. But one of those clones will raise his own galactic empire secretly, and he'll still have that planet on Exegol. But Rey will never become a thing. Rey will not be there. Rey is not going to be in the new sequels because Luke is still there and he doesn't have to fight his own father and he doesn't give up and he doesn't go to whatever planet he goes and drinks blue milk on. So, hear me out here. The Jedi Order will still be fully thriving. It'll get larger and larger and larger and larger and larger because there's 10,000 Jedi, each training new Jedi. But also, as you see here, we got to rewind a second. There will be no Ahsoka Tano leaving the Jedi. There will be no Ahsoka Tano at all. So this gets rid of the entire Ahsoka TV series. It gets rid of a couple episodes of Rebels. What's his name? Ezra Bridger. Yeah, he doesn't fight Darth Vader. He doesn't get the plot armor. He doesn't learn from Ahsoka at all a little bit. He doesn't learn from Kanan. He doesn't learn from Kanan learning from Ahsoka a little bit. None of that happens. But back to the Luke Skywalker thing. Luke Skywalker is now the most powerful Jedi in the universe because his father is growing of old age. Now, the Skywalker has been known throughout the galaxies at this point because they are literally the most powerful Jedi to ever exist. They are, and that's a fact. But now Luke will be raising his own Jedi Order. He'll be the master of the head council. Because Yoda went to Dagobah still to train, find himself, and become into the Force. Obi-Wan has also still found himself to go into the Force, found a way to help Luke Skywalker across his journey. Except there is no Death Star because the clone, Sidious, was training them on Exegol. So, as we see on Exegol, he still makes that giant army of Star Destroyers because that's so much smarter than a freaking Death Star. Because you can still take out the planets, these things all have a planet destroyer on them. They still can blow up a planet from one Star Destroyer. Now, Luke leads the attack. Luke finds the freaking triangle looking, I forgot what it's called, the holocron or whatever it is, and he goes and finds him on Exegol. Now, Kylo Ren is still a part of this because maybe Leia and Han still fall in love. We'll just keep that there for good sake. But Kylo Ren helps Luke Skywalker. So these two enter the planet. There's no Rey in this scenario. There's no, you're actually my granddaughter and you're not a Skywalker. You're not a Skywalker anyways. So they go to Exegol. They kill Sidious with no work whatsoever. Light work. He still does his lightning thing up into the sky, and then he brings them all up from the ground, so now they have to fight a lot of them. Finn is still in this, by the way, because Finn's cool, and I don't care what you say. Finn gets into this somehow. He joins the Resistance somehow. Maybe he doesn't join the secret Imperial Order that Palpatine's been rising to still bring up his 1,000 Star Destroyers. So, they still need all of the backup. They need all of the backup. And maybe there's 1,000 Millennium Falcons. Just kidding. No. There's still one Millennium Falcon ran by Han Solo because he's never killed because Ben Solo is working for the Skywalkers. Yeah. Alright. So, they take out these 1,000 Star Destroyers because they can recruit the entire galaxy with the Resistance because everyone is on the same page here. They want peace. They got to get rid of this. But maybe some are skeptical to join because they've had peace for so long. Maybe they think, oh, that's not going to happen because, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to join the Resistance because there's been peace for so long there was no need for Resistance. But they still have to fight these 1,000 Star Destroyers. Eventually they take out the 1,000 Star Destroyers. Luke finally retires. Maybe Ben Solo takes it up. He takes up the position of training the next Order of Jedi, and there's no secret Sith anymore, except in the sequels. There's 2 more clones in that Lego book. There was 2 more. He made 3 clones. So somewhere out there's 2 Palpatines secretly scheming in the freaking galaxy, training to rise up and take down the Jedi Order. There's 2 more Palpatines out there scheming somewhere, fighting a way to get rid of death because Darth Plagueis the Wise. They're finding a way to get rid of their own death, and they're probably cloning themselves 1,000 more times So at some point, there's going to be an evil empire of just Palpatines. Instead of the entire Imperial Resistance, sorry, not Imperial Resistance, Imperial Empire, it's just going to be an empire of Palpatines. They're just going to keep cloning themselves over and over again, and there's only going to be like maybe 10, 15,000 Jedi against like 30,000 Darth Sidious clones. Okay, now at that, if that ever happens, they are absolutely cooked. Ben Solo is cooked. He's not nearly as strong as Luke and Anakin. Maybe his 15,000 Jedi. They lead an attack. It's like the Old Republic. They lead an attack against 10,000 Darth Sidious's, and then they get absolutely mauled. And then the 30,000 Darth Sidious's take over the entire galaxy. And that's what would happen if there wasn't always a bigger fish. Subscribe, please.